Hello, and welcome to SOH, Best Office Hours, because you are part of it. This is AP Calculus AB 2023, question number 5. First, we will go over the questions and see what we have to do to solve them, and then we will go one by one through the details. So maybe with the first couple of minutes you have enough, otherwise you can jump to the question that you need to know more about. Okay, thank you. Let's go. So the first one, it says that we have two functions, f and g. They are twice differentiable. This means that they are continuous and their first two derivatives are continuous. And we have a table with some values. Then we have a function h that is composed of f and g. And they want us to compute the derivative of h of that function at 7. How are we going to solve that? Well, so first question, we are going to use the chain rule. And the chain rule basically is to first take care of f, the derivative of f, and then the derivative of g. So it's going to be like something like this. First you take care of the derivative of f, so you don't touch g, and then this derivative. Okay, we'll see more later if you want. And then you use the table to solve it. For b, we have whether it's concave up or concave down. And that's always a little bit messy, and you may remember it or memorize it. We will go over and I'll give you a table on how to deal with it. But one way to deal with this is with the second derivative. If you can compute it, in this case you can, right? We can compute another derivative and see whether it's positive or negative, and then decide whether it's concave down or concave up. Okay. So C. For C, we have this odd expression, but don't be very much, worried about seeing all this. This is because of the fundamental theorem of calculus. This is just f of x minus f of 0. We can look at that later. But so basically, you just need a table to solve problem C. And for D, they want to see whether m is increasing or decreasing. So it's going to be slopes. So it's going to be the derivative of m. And the derivative of m implies, well, basically, we will go back to f of prime, which is also the table. So we will look at the table. If you have enough with all this, go ahead, try to solve it by your own. Call me back when you get the 5. Otherwise, let's go from A to D and see what's up with each of them. And as I said, in B there is something else. Okay, so for A, we are going to use the chain rule. Remember, the chain rule. Let me briefly consider a simple example. Let's imagine that we have this function, the sine of 2x. What is the chain rule? The chain rule basically is that when you take this derivative, you first think about the first function you see, which is sine, so it's cosine, and forget about the rest, 2x. And the next thing you do is you do take care of the next function, which is 2. And the same if you will have like 35 functions. Hopefully you will never have that, but you will go one by one until the 35th. Okay, let me know when you get there. Now, in our case, h of x is a composition of two functions, so we'll have like a two-step. So the derivative of h of x is going to be, first we take care of f, so f prime, and copy the rest of it. And then we take care of the second one, g prime of x, which we like the 2x before, right? They want it at 7, okay, 7. Let's substitute x by 7. And now comes a little bit, it's not very tricky, but just be careful with the steps. This is x equals to 7, right? X equals to 7. So we are going to be on this column. And then the next thing is that we are going to choose different functions. For instance, here you need to know how much is g of 7. So we need to choose g. So this is the value, is 0. How about g prime of 7? Well, be careful, g prime. Don't choose another row, then we're done. 8. And with that set, we have f prime of 0, but we are not done, right, until number 8. We still need this one. So be very careful with that guy, because that's f prime. So we need this one, and 0, a different one. So we want this one now, okay? So with that set, we have that this is 3/2 of 8, which is 12, right? And we are done. Let's move on. Great. So for B, what happens in B? Oh, yeah, that's the thing. Let's review what is concave. Concave down and concave up, first of all, okay? Well, this indeed depends on the country. So here in the US, concave down is basically something that looks like this. So it has a local maximum, and concave up is something like this, okay? Like a bowl. But other countries look different, and I'm talking about Australia, which is in the southern hemisphere, okay? Depends whether you look from the top or from the bottom, and it's just a convention. So you have this function. So this is the function, how it looks like. And then what about its first derivative, and what about its second derivative? That's kind of the table that you need to have very clear to solve any of these problems. So if you don't have this table, hopefully at your school you got it. just copy it, okay? This is very important. And then let's try to make a line here. Ooh, okay, good. Yes, I still can do lines. So f prime here is a derivative. So the slope started to be positive and then negative. So it's decreasing, right? Decreasing. What's up with the other case? Well, it's going to be increasing, unless I was wrong in the first one, right? It's the opposite. Okay, what about the second derivative? Well, in this case, the second derivative is negative, and because the derivative of a decreasing function is negative or positive. So that's what you need to know. So basically, they want us to know what's the sign of this quantity. If it's positive, it will be concave up. If it's negative, concave down. But we can also use the first derivative. But let's use this, which is the official solution. Okay, the official solution. So how do we compute this? Well, we have to take a derivative of that thing, so it's going to be 2 times f of x multiplied. So again, the chain rule is pretty long, and then plus is a product. F of x squared is a bit, a bit lengthy, and then they want us to compute this at 0.4. Okay, so 2 f of 4, f prime of 4, g of 4. So you know what they want us to do, right? Look at the table several times and try to, that we messed up at some point and deduct some points. So again, let's be very careful. Let's use one color for f. So we have f, and the point is going to be 4. In this case, all are 4, not like before that we moved from 7 to 0. So they are all going to be here. So the first thing is 4. So any f of 4 is going to be the number 4. Okay, so here is 4 squared. Okay, cool. Now let's look at the next one, which is f prime of 4. So f prime is here. So f prime of 4 is 3. So here we have a 3, right? No more f primes. Cool. Now let's look at g of 4. So it's this one. G of 4 is here. Let's choose a different color. G of 4, this one. So it's going to be minus 3. Be careful, there is a minus here. Very tricky, right? And here we need g prime. So g prime, let's choose pinky color. And g prime of 4 is 2. Okay, so that's 2. So in other words, what we have here is 8 times 3, 24, times minus 3, and 16 times 2 plus 32. The sign is what matters. You can say that this is negative, but if you want to do it right, this is minus 72 plus 32 minus 40, which is negative. So if it's negative, then we have that it's concave down, okay? And that's the main point. So now for C, again, let's not get very much threatened by all this expression. The first thing to do is to try to simplify this in a better way. So like, let's say we do this, and this is simply because of the fundamental theorem of calculus, fundamental theorem of calculus. You have that. And well, so what do they want? M of 2, okay, no problem. 5 times 8 plus f of 2 minus f of 0. So again, be very careful when we choose this, because we have f of 2 and f of 0. Let's use 2 colors. You don't need to use different colors, of course, when you are doing the exam, but just be very careful. So m of 2 is going to be 40 plus 7 minus 10. So it's going to be 37, right? Okay, that's the answer. That's all. Now let's move on to the next one, which is the last one. Woo! Yes, this is the last one. So now, if it's increasing or decreasing, I think we can do that very fast. So what do we have to do? Compute this thing. But remember that our function m of x was 5x cubed plus f of x minus f of 0. So the derivative is going to be 15x squared plus f prime of x. So this is it. At point 2 is 15 times 4 plus f prime of 2. Probably positive, right? Because it's already 60 here. But f prime of 2, be careful. We want f prime is minus 8. So it's still positive. So it's increasing. And well, this is like our score. Our scores are increasing, and we are already past the A+. Thank you. See you next time.